Alright, today we're going to build a Faraday cage out of an ammo can, and then we're going to do a dual lining on it and test it out. A lot of people will go and do a simple test where they turn on a radio and they throw it in the box and the radio stops making noise and they're like, wow, it works. I think that is a baloney test, because if you hold the radio the wrong way, it'll stop making sound. So I want to test it fairly thoroughly. I'm going to go through and show you how I built the box, kind of go over the instructions, what you need, and then at the end we're going to test it. Stick around. Highly recommend that you check out the results because I am very surprised. So stay tuned. Let's get started. Oops. All right, here's what you'll need for today's project. You're going to need an ammo can, a metal one, not a plastic one. You can use aluminum foil, but I don't want to. I went and bought kind of off-the-shelf ready gaskets that are metal. Basically, they're conductive, so the whole point is to make this box one chunk of metal, and this will do it. Link will be down below. And for the most part, that's it, and some sandpaper. However, I want to go a little above and beyond. I bought some Faraday tape, also on Amazon, and I 3D printed a secondary enclosure that will go into this ammo box, just to see if it'll work or if it will improve how, you know, the Faraday cage will work. So first things first, we need to go and remove the gasket that is in this cage. So the gasket is right here. Next, you're gonna need some sandpaper. And now with your sandpaper, here's what you wanna do. You wanna go and sand down everything inside. Be careful, this metal piece might be sharp, but your goal is to sand down all of this right here around the gasket. Once you do that, we're going to do the same thing on the top lid here, and then we will be done. So I'm going to do that now. It's going to take a while. All right, I think that might be good enough. Now we gotta do the same thing, but just to the top of this lid, which is gonna be a lot easier. I'm just using some rubbing alcohol to just clean it all up as much as possible. All right, so now it's kind of the part that requires some patience and some dedication, because you can only cut once. So let's measure everything out and prepare our surface. So you can kind of see everything is touching. I'm not too crazy about that one right there, but everything else looks pretty good. So to measure continuity, to measure continuity, you want to have two bare parts, so one on top and one on the bottom. So I'm going to do that right now. All right, so now let's test the continuity. Make sure that basically the lid and the body of this ammo can are bonded, and they are. Awesome, good stuff. Basically the way you find out is if it's the same as these two touching. So with bare metal to bare metal, it's bonded, which is good, very good. Sorry for interrupting the video. This video is sponsored by me, or my Patreon. If you like this type of stuff and you want to support it, you want to learn more, you want to have a community that you can ask questions in, consider joining the Patreon. On top of that, I have a whole bunch of features that I think you would enjoy, hopefully, maybe. For example, with every video or with every other video, we're going to try to do a giveaway. I have an extra Baofeng DM32 DMR radio, valued at 90 bucks. I have basically a Meshtastic node thingy. $120 solar Meshtastic node that will be given away also. So if you want to join the Patreon, support what I'm doing, and also really, you're probably going to win something because I only have 2 people as members right now. Come along and join. All right, back to the video. So we made the Faraday cage because now these 2 pieces are bonded. All we need to do is pretty much put whatever we want in there and test it out. But I wanted to kind of take it to the next level. This is going to be like a dual wall Faraday cage, and let me explain. I printed out these enclosures here. Basically, they're another lining for the ammo can. They'll encapsulate whatever's inside just like that. But what I want to do is also use this tape. It's Faraday cage tape. Faraday tape. Let's wrap all this up now.
2 hours later.
Alright, so now that our enclosure is built, it's the second part of the video, which is our testing. So let me explain our testing methodology. So we're gonna have 5 ways that we're gonna test this Faraday cage. We're gonna do VHF, UHF, so basically I'm gonna take a ham radio like this one. I'm gonna put it into the box. I'm gonna attach my camera to there so you can actually see what's going on. And I'll transmit on VHF, which is 144/300, that's the frequency of choice. And then UHF, which is 446, just 446. After that, we're gonna go and see if we can get a lock on GPS, or if we're gonna get an error. GPS operates on 1575.42 megahertz. At least that's what Google said. Then we're gonna check 4G, which is around 850 megahertz. And we're gonna check 5G, which is about 24 megahertz. Now, let me preface all this by saying I'm no expert. I am just a nerd. I like this type of stuff. I like testing things out, so don't destroy me in the comments. Or destroy me in the comments, I don't care. But what I do want to say is all this stuff is just me figuring things out. I've seen people make these online. I've seen people use like aluminum foil. I wanted to try something else, and this is my contraption. So, yeah. All right, so my first time recording all this failed, which sucks. So we're gonna do this again right now. I have 2 radios, VHF, UHF, and then I have my Android device that has a program that shows our coordinates. And then I'm also gonna call it to see how this Faraday cage performs. So yeah, let's get started. Once again, this is just the cage itself without the dual wall lining. KD2 UXC testing 1 2. KD2 UXC testing 1 2. So I don't know what's going on in there right now, just testing as is. All right, so let's move on to UHF 445.95. This is KD2 UXC testing 1 2 1 2 testing. Then the GPS are locked in there. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna walk around a little and see if it is moving. It should technically be moving a little bit at least. I know it looks silly. All right, and next step, we are gonna give this device a call. And I hear it calling inside of the Faraday cage. Okay, so at least we know the service goes through. And one thing I didn't do is turn off Wi-Fi. Let me turn off the Wi-Fi real quick and test that. Okay, so even with the Wi-Fi off, it still made the call. Okay, next step, we're gonna do all of this over again. We're gonna put the second wall now. Okay, second wall is now in. Let's get started. So this is now with the dual wall setup. We're gonna be testing VHS, UHF, GPS, and calling. This is KD2 UXC testing 1 2 KD2 UXC. Once again, this is KD2 UXC testing a Faraday cage on 144/300. Okay, now let's switch over to UHF. This is KD2 UXC testing on 445/9500. This is KD2 UXC testing 1 2 1 2. Now the GPS is gonna be in there, so once again I'm gonna move around a little, see if it changes. And the last test is the phone call test. And the phone call still goes through. All right, so let's go over the results real quick as far as my findings. So with a Faraday cage built out of an ammo can with a gasket that you buy online, not using aluminum foil, I would say that it has failed. Unfortunately, it let VHF, UHF, GPS location, and phone calls to go through. With the dual wall, however, it sort of failed. Not really. It blocked VHF, it blocked UHF, GPS was still locked on, and phone calls were still able to go through. Now you can draw to whatever conclusion you want, because once again, this is not some type of scientific test, unfortunately. But I would say that would I trust this with all of my expensive radio equipment? Probably not. I would probably end up buying a certified item. However, would I put everything else in here that I kind of would love to have that I may not, care as much if it does break? Yeah, definitely. I'll fit as much stuff in here as possible, especially the dual wall. So yeah, not the results I wanted. It was a lot of work for this test, and I'm happy that I did it, and I'm happy that I have an answer now. A lot of people would just throw a radio in here and tune it to their local station, and when they put it in, it stops working, or it starts making like a buzzing sound, and they think that it works. No, it's not as simple as that. So yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. On to the next project. Bye.